Mm, 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 mm. Hey, but good morning.
Hello.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. How
Okay,
are you?
good. Very good. Very good. I'm glad to be starting the New Year's.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, we got a good future in education on the internet. I don't know if you've seen the translation at the bottom. You see
Yeah.
the,
Yeah,
I
I've seen
mean,
it.
that is a big step. As well, it has other languages. And I haven't completely learned how to use it, but let me show you if I want to put it in Russian. What language do you want?
Anything?
Okay.
Uh,
I'll put Spanish, okay? You see on your menu, it has captions. If you have the latest, do you have the latest Zoom?
yeah, yeah. There is an option for caption.
Okay, go to that. Well, you don't have to just watch me now for now. I'm gonna put Spanish as my speaking language, see what happens. Okay, now See, it translates into Spanish, and I think the Spanish translation is pretty good, which is a huge step. That means language is being translated in real time.
Mm.
And really Zoom has not made a big deal of it. I'm really surprised. But this really is a huge addition to education in general, not just neurosurgery. Education in general, it lessens the barrier of language for communication, which of course is vital for education, is to communicate. So now people are going to be able to communicate better in the world. This is a huge step.
Agreed.
Now I'll put it on a different language here. Let me see here. I'll put Russian on. See what happens here. It takes a second to, and you can play with it too.
Yeah,
You can use uh, the real-time translator too. So just experiment with it. But it broadens someone like you, their audience, because you're able to have live webcasts and have people like me that speak a different language that can utilize this translator. Because I see a lot of people like Russians, Latin Americans, that they feel very conscious of their English is not good. So a lot of times they don't participate. Now will bring them in because they can speak Russian, they can speak Vietnamese, they can speak, and it'll be translated. And I believe I've gone over it with a few people. It's pretty accurate. But the bottom line is they wouldn't put it there unless it was accurate, and it's going to get better. I mean, AI is, look what it's done. I didn't think we'd see this for another year. I predicted, but you know
okay.
better than anybody, AI with language models, it's really good.
Yeah,
So this is AI right there. That's proof of what you're talking about, how it's improving education, other things.
true.
So anyways, I was really glad to see that. Let me hide the okay, let me take this off Russian. I'll just leave it on English for now. So I'm putting it back to English for me, and it's getting transcribed, which is useful to me anyways, just to have subtitles. I prefer if someone asks me, you want subtitles or not? I would say, yeah, put subtitles. I can understand it better because I can't hear sometimes. So, or you may choose not to use it. So it depends on you. We'll wait a few minutes, okay? Are you in a
Yeah.
hurry?
No, no, not you.
Okay.
No problem.
Uh, so what's going on with you? Have you talked to anybody that's seen the webcast? Do they say it's good or do they say it's lousy? What do they say?
Uh, I shared it with few of my friends. They have seen it and they said they already knew about it that I am doing something like that. So
Good,
they were aware.
good. As
They
long,
understood a lot.
good. Well,
Yeah,
you know, I put it this two. I put a link to both of them in what I sent out, one and two. That's the value of it because I know myself. I'd say, hell, three. I'm gonna watch them at one time, and we'll give them a link for the playlist once the webinar is over. But I put two in today. You probably noticed that you can link to the first two.
sure.
So, anyways, Marvin's here. Good, from Nicaragua. So I'm gonna put it in Spanish. I'm gonna put this in Spanish. Omar's here. Good, from Nicaragua. Okay, I'm gonna put Spanish. Here's an example. Marvin, he speaks English, but not too good.
Okay.
So I'm going to put Spanish subtitles on for his benefit. Marvin, are you there? Well, he may not be able to come in. As you know, it's a working day in Latin America, so a lot of people just put it on mute and they watch it. But Marvin's coming in. Hola, Marvin. Hola, Marvin.
Hola, Jun.
¿Cómo estás?
Estoy bien, bien.
Could I
Aquí,
introduce you, Bushan Brumby, the presenter.
ya, sí,
Okay. Y mira, hay títulos en español.
sí,
Es mi voz, es real. Inmediatamente se traduce.
sí. Bueno,
Sí, sí, tú para, tal vez tú para,
Bushantombe,
sí, tal vez tú para entender más.
Bushantombe.
Sí, ok, tú para ver, ¿verdad?
Sí,
Okay. Okay, ready to start, Pushan?
Okay.
Okay, let's start. 10, 9, 8. Oh, let me make sure I'm all set up. Sometimes I do that. I start and I'm not even set up with on the web page, etc. Because I put it on the web page. As soon as I go live, it goes right on the front page. Oh, I don't even have it set up. So let me get that done real quick. Just give me a second.
sí, bueno.
Mm,
De la India, entonces de la India.
Marvin, ¿tú estás en el hospital o en casa?
En la casa,
Oh, okay. Okay. Live. Okay, I'll show you in a second, Pushan, so you understand. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna screen share, I'm not live yet, just to show you what I just did. See, I put that, you see, this is the live link on the front page right now. You see it now, right, Pushan?
Yes.
So when I turn it on, it's a slight delay. It's like a few seconds delay, but it goes live there. And so, yeah. So I'll get off that. Okay. And so when we start, we're right on the front page live. Okay. Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good morning. This is Dr. John Bennett from beautiful Miami Beach here. We have a dark day here. It's early in the morning. It's 6:30 a.m. It's 5 o'clock in India. I'd like to welcome Bhushan Thromby, a neurosurgeon notable because of his knowledge of computer science. Most doctors like me don't start the computer till later on, but Bhushan started at 10 years of age. So he has a pretty deep, even before I believe he knew he had a hankering to study neurosurgery. I don't think he knew that yet, but I don't know. So, okay, it's a three-part series. I put the link of the first two episodes on the link that you see in the internet. So you can just catch up with that series later. And I welcome Bhushan for part 3 of neurosurgery and artificial intelligence. It's all yours, Bhushan.
Thank you, Professor John. Thank you for having me today. Today is a third part of our series in which we are exploring how we can use different forms of AI in neurosurgery. On first day, we explored about various algorithms which we can use in neurosurgery. On the second day, we explored a practical application which I used in terms of convolutional neural network in identifying squash images. Today is going to be a more generalized and we will explore today what others have achieved in AI in terms of neurosurgical applications, and we will do and see some practical application as well as 2 or 3 demos live for which we will understand how we can actually implement these techniques in our day-to-day practice. So let's hope this goes well today. So first of all, we need to understand what are the different utilities a neurosurgeon can have from AI. We can have it in terms of a surgical workflow or in terms of a non-surgical workflow. In surgical workflow, it's easy to imagine for us, like we can use AI in form of a diagnosis, which can be in terms of a clinical diagnosis or in terms of a imaging diagnosis, where images or some clinical information is fed to a model, which we have discussed, and then it gives you output in terms of a diagnosis, which we can then work forward on. The another thing can be in a complex situations where we are not sure what kind of next step in the decision process of while treating the patient we can use these models to to perform or give you the next decision step in that scenarios. Similarly, we can use these techniques in a pre-surgical planning, as many papers have shown before. Also, in terms of simulation techniques, we will see some of them today. Uh, Another ways we can use them is in terms of surgical assistance, monitoring ourselves as well as patient in the post-operative period, as well as in follow-ups, and analyze the data there and there itself. And if we identify some groups which can have a more likelihood to have that kind of morbidity, we can follow up those patients particularly and give them a different care of treatment for that things. Similarly, it's equally more important to have a non-surgical workflow to work upon also, because neurosurgeons don't any surgeon doesn't mean just to have a to deal with just patients. He has to deal with other things also, like there is a research going on. We have to analyze patients' behavior, in particularly in the second and third well, countries where sometimes violence is on a doctor is a problem, like particularly in India. So we can analyze by militaries in many times. Similarly, we can use it for administrative tasks like doing our day-to-day chores, your accounts, analyzing the patient's inflow and other things. Similarly, we can use it in our academic teaching and training neurosurgeons, which are in their residencies. As we discussed, like there are a lot of publications published each and every day. Like I have read somewhere like 2 papers are getting published every minute. So therefore, any human reading them is an impossible task. So we can use AI to summarize or those papers for us to get a proper understanding and stay up to date. Similarly, in terms of writing our new papers, we can use AIs. We will have a demonstration on that today. Next, I will just discuss few of the papers first before going to the demonstration. Yeah, what has actually been very useful and dynamic in terms of AI. Although this is not a new paper, but this is one of the very early paper where AI is used for tumor identification and delineation of borders. We can do volumetric analysis, analyze whether what effect a radiotherapy or the extent of surgery can have on that patient and how the outcome will be in the terms of mortality or morbidity. Also, we can analyze the proper sites for our stereotactic biopsy while performing STBs, and we can have a preoperative vasculatures within the tumor analyzed by some methods like with this FRACLAC method. You can see within the tumors how intricately the anatomy of a vessel is delineated. This kind of techniques can be really helpful while dealing particularly of vascular tumors. So going to next step, no, we are all aware that radionomics is coming in a good way to support pre-operative decision making nowadays, and you can see from some of the
I think he may have had an internet fall off the internet. Just hold on. He should be back momentarily. So, Mervyn, ¿tú has visto el horario nuevo?
No, todavía no.
Sí, tenemos 2 presentadores y estoy esperando para un poco más. Yo mandé a su WhatsApp
Ya.
un horario. Roberto
Oh,
Herrera de Argentina, el presidente
sí.
sí, Roberto es muy
Vi a
bueno.
Roberto Herrera y
Sí,
dos
sí,
más. Sí,
sí, sí.
hace un
El
momento lo
médico,
miré.
sí, Luis no ha recibido confirmación. Es un
Sí,
cirujano de espina de Bolivia. ¿Tú
boliviano, sí.
conoces? Sí, él
Luis
está.
Duchenne,
¿Tú conoces a él? ¿Tú has visto a él?
sí,
Ok, estoy esperando para él. Él le gusta haciendo charlas.
charla, sí.
Oh, wait,
Se
I
le se
gotta wait.
desconectó el internet de Buchan.
Ok, que está esperando. Espero que no hay problemas serio.
Problema de internet,
Yo creo que sí, porque rápidamente se cae.
sí, se cae rápido.
Sí, entonces eso es su o electricidad. Es posible. Tú
Es
conoces,
posible
sí.
porque
Tú conoces, ¿verdad?
en-
Nicaragua tiene problemas con esto, ¿verdad?
hay problemas,
Es
pero
mucho mejor que antes.
mejor, un poquito mejor que antes.
Sí, antes, porque yo he hecho charlas 5 años en Nicaragua y yo he
Sí,
visto los cambios. Es mucho mejor ahora que hace 5 años.
mejor, sí.
Ok, yo voy a estar grabando. Hasta tenemos la regresa. Let me see. Trying to, oh, I used to get in touch with him. Just hang on, panel. He may be back. I'm betting on him.
Debe ser problema de electricidad, porque hay otros de la India que están conectados.
Oh, sí. Okay.
Otros
Okay.
de la India que están conectados.
Sí,
Pero
pero
a él, o de
sí.
internet,
No, India es un país grande.
bien grande, sí.
Hay muchos partes. Yo creo que un parte mal de internet no importa el próximo estado. Yo creo que
Sí,
estados de indio, distritos de indio, no sé cuál, pero más o menos estados. Y hay exentos en India. Muchas personas de India me dijo que personas de Mumbai tienen un acento muy difícil para ellos para entender su inglés.
sí.
Puede entender. Tú
El inglés de
conoces
la
la
India,
diferencia. Tú
sí.
conoces de Texas, es diferente.
El inglés de la India es un poco difícil de entender.
¿Así para ti?
Para mí sí,
Oh, no parece bien. No estoy recordando yo algo,
no,
pero,
no,
normalmente ellos regresan rápido. Por
sí,
Atul Goel, él tiene muchos problemas antes, ah,
sí.
pero la gente espera y él regresa después de un rato. Sean, sí. This doesn't happen too much. Oh, so we're still online actually on YouTube. This doesn't happen too much.
Ya,
Yeah, I'll just leave it on YouTube. So no, I think LinkedIn was the way I contacted him. We'll try to get back.
has conectado.
Hello, Professor.
Oh, you're
Hello.
back. Okay, great, great. Okay, let's.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know. Zoom just hanged on me.
Oh, okay. Let me start recording again. Okay, we're recording. We had some tech difficulties. Okay, onward, Dr. Thromby.
So I guess you were up to with me till meningioma. I will start again from traumatic brain injury. So, as we are aware, that center TBI study is one of the important studies which is done recently, and they have done unsupervised learning predictions. And as we have discussed in previous days, unsupervised learning gives you a output in terms just of groups of data, and it's up to you uh, how to predict from those labels. And with this data, we get predictions and clusters of A, B, C, D, E, F. And then the applications can be seen in terms of predicting the mortality, morbidity in these patients. And as you can see, the cluster description is not just in terms of clinical data. Other important terms like whether there is a metabolic derangement, like what are the glucose levels, lactate levels, if the patient is a hypothermic or not, all these things are taken into consideration before predicting the analysis, and this is much more accurate analysis with narrow confidence intervals. If you see this paper is published by Ekelund et al. In 2022 on basis of a center TBI data. Similarly, as we can do with the tumors, we can do other analysis like volume quantifications, reporting of the CT scans when the radiologists are not available, and we can do predictions in terms of 6-month morbidity or mortality from these images. We can also use, there is another paper, interesting paper by Matthew Pease, where there is outcome prediction in patients with severe traumatic brain injury using deep learning, that is the CNN analysis on the CT scans. They're here to use another algorithms called as attention models to get coherence between the layers of the images. This is another study which we have seen yesterday, predicting the squash images intraoperatively. And these are the other papers similar to that. One of the important things, like many times we operate spine cases also, but you must be knowing, like in this decade itself, nearly 30 more companies has came with their own implant, and when we operate those implant which has been operated by another surgeons, and we need to remove it after 5 or 10 years, we don't know what kind of implant we are dealing with, because every implant will have a different screw size, and they will require different screwdrivers for removing those screws and extracting those plates. So this is a simple paper based on computer vision, where they have collected images and made a data set and made a CNN model, and got with just a simple AP X-ray, we can analyze what kind of implant is used, and you can select the screwdrivers afterward during the surgery, rather than guessing up. Similarly, you can do other spine-related AI projects like ODI prediction in the post-operative status. Measurements in the spinal surgery can be done automatically for the you just by giving an X-ray. Pathology identification from the MRIs and the patient-specific prognostication can be done in terms of a traumatic spine injury patients. Another interesting paper is from the Calgary University, where they have generated something called as a NeuroGPT-X. So it is a model which is grossly based on GPT models, and they GPT-3 particularly, and they have fed it around 1,300 papers which are publicly available for training. and which are related to the vestibular schwannomas. And it is and they have developed a simple chat-based platform that will give you an opportunity to ask questions to it about what kind of outputs you are expected from your patients, and what kind of tumors will give you different kinds of problems. So this is another interesting achievement which is recently published in JNS. They are coming up with newer models also with that. This is what they did. They have collected like around 157 Wikipedia entries regarding vestibular schwannomas, nearly 3,100 papers and abstracts, and then those were fed, and GPT was then made context aware about those data, and then they compared with an expert neurosurgeon, a simple GPT model, and this context enriched GPT Neuro X model. So they have found that NeuroGPTX is performing a lot better while giving answers as compared to that of human surgeons, and it is equally able to answer about vestibular schwannoma questions, both in terms of explaining the patients about the disease, what can happen during the surgery, and there is a list of questions they have given and published in this paper, which you can read on your time. So I will show you this site also for now. So this is a simple chart-based application which is produced by NeuroGPTX. This link also I will put in the chart. This is another useful way, because acoustic schwannomas are also one of the common skull-based tumors which are operated in posterior fossa by many surgeons. So this kind of knowledge, or getting some insights about a paper or your particular kind of tumor, can give you some importance. Like, you can ask questions like you ask for the GPT. Like, if I ask him a simple questions like, what is the age group of So they have hosted it in on Azure services, it seems, and sometimes those services can get a little delayed, but after some time you should be able to see a response about it. So we will go forward with the lecture till it produces its result. So there are like hundreds of papers similar to this, and there is neither a time for going through each of them, and neither I don't have a knowledge to understand all of them properly. So there are similar papers for vascular surgeries, for endovascular procedures, where very nicely you can predict the occlusion rate about different kind of stents you are putting. You can identify the type of devices which were used previously from just an skull x-rays, like we have done in spine cases. Also, we can identify complications based on that. Similarly, many important papers are there in identifying the connectomes of the brain. There are another papers or another field of assistance, like surgical assistance and robotic surgery, where robots with reinforcement learning models, like that third model, what we described, can be used to perform or assist surgeries without interference, or in terms of a master-slave model. Like, as many of the surgical robots which are used today are in terms of master and slave, but some kind of autonomy can be given to these robots with the use of RL models. Similarly, in post-operative monitoring, ICU monitoring and follow-ups, there are multiple papers. I will share the links with you for these papers if we want to read through it. So another important things which comes after this clinical practice is the other time which what we spend like in academics and training. So during neurosurgical simulations and during results prediction, there are few papers where during the simulations or resident training, the hands movements of the residents are tracked, and then what is the accuracy of it is predicted, and you can tell whether the resident is improving in his skill or not. Also, we can use different AI techniques to allot bed in congested hospitals, and to always make sure that adequate amount of beds are available in the staff. Or similarly, we can use the softwares or algorithms for staff management and appropriate rotations of staff so that they are not overloaded in their work. Because nowadays most of the things are done manually, although they are noted on a computer, but most of the things, because somebody goes on the leaves, then whole of the rosters has to be changed. So this kind of softwares can be used to do it and do this for you. Similarly, as I said, there are hundreds of articles published about your knowledge or niche, and you cannot keep up to date on that. So academic summarization softwares can be used to use that. We can see one demonstration with the, if time permits, with single paper today. Another thing is that patient workflow management. What does it mean? That although the surgery is the main part in a new surgical practice, but how does the patient comes to the OPD? How the workflow is in the OPD after that, and then after going to the OPD, how the PAC is done, how it goes to the ward. This all workflow, and then post-operatively how is shifted from ICU to the general ward, and from the general ward how he is shifted to the other in the follow-ups. This patient workflow management we can take help of AI. Although there are not many papers on this, but this is a very elegant idea to manage your patients, both for surgeons as well as physicians. Similarly, you know about ChatGPT, like tools which can help you in writing academic transcripts if you provide similar kinds of data. We can have one demonstration about it, like how to do a simple statistics with the help of ChatGPT, which can help you analyze and visualize what kind of data or power which has been achieved with this model. So we will do that now. So first of all, I will show you the data which we will be analyzing today. Although this is not medical data, but you can seriously see how it can help you in analyzing your data. I have chosen to be this simple data set to just show you how it can be used. So this is the data of the Titanic passengers which were present on the Titanic HMS when it sank. So these are the passenger list. Each row represents a different passenger. The P class is the passenger class list, and the second column is whether that passenger survived the HMS accident or not. What was the sex of that passenger, age, whether there were siblings present, if there are any parents present on the board. What was the fares they means? What were the what is the price ticket they paid for being on that ship, as well as which cabins they were, and from where they have embarked on the Titanic. So this is a simple database, and you can just analyze and change it with like whether your patient survived and what is the sex and age of that patient, in what category, what kind of mutations it is, and you can prepare your medical data set like this. So we will insert this dataset and we'll see a simple demonstration today and how we can do a analysis with this. Now going back to the previous demonstration, you can see this NeuroGPT has came up with an answer and has given us that the age group of vestibular schwannoma varies, but it typically has a peak incidence in 6th and 7th decade of life. However, in 10 to 15% cases, vestibular schwannoma can be diagnosed with which are 40 years or younger also. So this is based on a lot of papers, and you can see it has given you the sources based on what has made its prediction of these words. So these three papers here, this GPT has used and given you the a knowledge base. There are a lot of complicated questions you can ask about vestibular schwannoma to this thing.
You're okay?
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't know. My Zoom is giving some problem. Am I audible or my screen is visible?
Yeah, like we can see it. We can see actually, it looks like your notes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's what you want on the screen. It looks like
It's not what.
communication with other people.
Okay.
Uh,
NeuroGPTX is not visible, right?
no, I can just see the script. You're showing text. It's all text. Is that what you want to show?
No, no. I will have to
Okay.
reconnect them.
Okay, no problem. Just take your time.
Yeah.
Okay,
So yeah. So
okay, you're back. Your audio is back. Okay.
okay. It's visible now?
Yeah, but still, it's not. I don't think it's the screen you want to share. You can see the screen they're sharing, right? Yeah, let me get that person muted.
Is the NeuroGPT is visible now?
No,
Not visible.
still a text. Go
Okay.
off the screen share. You went off the screen share completely, right? And came back?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
showing that you are
because
sharing the screen. Yeah.
yeah, but you're sharing something you probably don't want to share. It's a text file about NeuroGPT.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I wanted to
Okay,
show.
okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Maybe that's you can see
So
what we're showing, right?
yeah, yeah, I can show. I
Yeah,
can
okay.
see.
So if that's correct, okay, let's go.
Okay. So this is the NeuroGPTX what we have seen, and you can ask about all things about surgeries, what is the predictions in different kind of size of tumor, and it can give you answers based on those database on which it is built. Now we will go to another demonstration where we will do analysis of our data set. Were you there when I explained this data set to you? So hello, Professor John.
Yeah, we can see the data sheet.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So as I said, it is a Titanic database. So we will feed that data set into our AI model. And now we can ask questions based on this, and it can do a data analysis for us. And we need not feed it anything. Like I can ask it simple question like,
Can you describe the data set? Okay,
yeah, so can you describe this data set for me? So it will
okay.
do some analysis by itself, and
Oh, okay. This is something
yeah,
that's everyone's accessible to. Chat
yeah,
GPT.
chat GPT, correct. So as you can see, it came with an answer and telling us that it is a Titanic database. And the P class represent the passenger class, whether they are first, second, or third class. Then second is whether they have survived the HMS accident. In terms of one being survived, zero did not survive. Then the sex, age of the passengers, whether they were siblings, whether there were number of parents, what was the fare they paid for the passengers, and then what cabin they were in, and from where they have embarked the HMS. So this is just a descriptive analysis of the data. Now we can do something fun with it and then ask it, like I have prepared some questions which we can ask. So we can ask him how we can ask itself like how we can plan to analyze this kind of data. So so it will come with a plan, like we can do some kind of descriptive statistics, like mean, median, mode analysis. We can do some kind of data visualization on it. We can prepare histograms for age and fare, like that, and scatter plot. So it is giving you the plan by itself, like how this data can be analyzed. So you can feed any data to it and it will give you the answers for it. We can do predictive modeling, whether you are in this part or if you're doing that, then what will be the parts. Then we can ask him something to draw something for us, like a bar chart for the age distribution of the Titanic passengers. And see, it has produced to the age distribution. You can see there is some infants were there, and then the peak age was around 20 to 30 years of age, and then these are the kinds of distribution. So these beautiful things you can just do by asking question. You need not analyze what to do, what not to do. Now we can do some complex analysis or statistical analysis with this also. Like even though I don't know what kind of test I need to apply, I can ask him to what test we can apply and how we can analyze some things. Like here I am asking on this data set whether is there any statistical significance between the passengers class and the survival of that passenger, and how we can test it, whether there is any significance or not. So it will do some analysis and again come up with an answer.
You write your own prompts.
Yeah, so sometimes it hangs. So I have made another, like here you can see I have given the whether there is any correlation between passenger class and survival, and it has came with the answer like first class passenger, second class passenger, and third class passenger. What is the survival rates in that, and how many numbers of survivals are there? And then it has chosen the chi-square test to be applied on this data set and came up with the chi-square numbers for us. And finally, it has given us that the p-value is significant for this, and if you are in first class or in the second class, there is a higher chance of survival than if you are in third class. So all this kind of analysis you can do just by giving you a data set, and this is an amazing thing because many a times once we are out of our medical degree, biostatistics is one of the things which we tend to forget as we move forward in our clinical careers. So this kind of products can be useful for almost everybody, and you can prepare the whole master chart. You can feed it to your chat GPT like applications and get this kind of answer without doing a lot of efforts or statistical elements. You can ask him to apply different kinds of statistics also on different parameters and get a correlation between different parts. So I think this is one of the most advanced thing which we can do currently on a daily basis in our academic research. Now coming back to our presentation. So although these are all the upsides, there are some downsides also associated with AI. There are some direct disadvantages while and some indirect advantages. Direct disadvantages includes like there might be inadequate training during the data set collection phase. As I told, like if there are the data set is not properly trained or the model is not properly trained, it's tend to give you the inadequate information or improper outputs. So you have to be very careful while choosing your models and what kind of information you are expecting and how much accuracy it can give you. This can include some kind of a poor understanding of the basics of the actual field. Like as we have seen, like if we keep on doing these things daily on this biostatistics, we tend to forget more and more about basics of biostatistics. Also, sometimes if such advanced technologies are there, there might be a thing called as a fear of missing out. Like we might feel that we are missing something, and although we might be knowing about that topic, we might tend to get an answer from something exterior to us, like this highly intelligence model, to be sure that your whatever you're doing is correct or not. This can increase terms of in terms of times, it can increase surgical errors. Also, as I was shown before, although we can analyze 28 million parameters from a single image in the scenario which we have seen, but we don't know what actually those parameters are, and it's very difficult many a times to see on what basis that answer is given. So such kind of algorithms are tend to be black boxes. Also, many times it can lack a generalization. We have discussed these problems in detail in our previous lectures. There are in some long term and some indirect disadvantages. Like if we are more reliant on our AI tech, like there is a definite risk of de-skilling. Like I can give you a simple example of a calculator. Previously, you many a times we used to do all your calculations either by hand or in our mental space. But as soon as the calculator is given in the hand, even the simplest calculator we tend to do it in our calculator. So this can result in a de-skilling, not in terms of just your mental problems, but also in terms of physical or neurosurgical skills. It can also produce you overconfidence. As you are sure, as I was shown, there has to be particular kind of knowledge and before applying this kind of model. Otherwise you can become overconfidence on the result, and you might not be very careful while interpreting this kind of results. And although I have shown that statistical results can be obtained, it is always a better way to at least check or read or at least be aware about what is happening in those things. With the automatic workflow, there is a treatment biases. These models has been shown and proven to have racial biases. Like even ChatGPT has been shown to have a racial biases. So this we cannot completely eliminate just by having a proper data set. There are other issues like data overfitting, regulatory issues which we should be aware about. So knowing all this, how we can move forward and how we can apply these all techniques into our research. There is something called as a scientific process of discovery, which we must all follow while doing or identifying any new studies or on which we want to research or give or provide our time on the further research. So first of all, we need to read something and then we come up with some kind of a question. Then we need to study that question, formalize an hypothesis, test whether this question is coming or not, then assess whether that hypothesis is right or not. Then we have to report it, and from that report we have to raise another question. This is something called as a wheel of scientific discovery, which we all should be aware about. AI can help you in each of these steps, but you have to be very careful about where we can apply it and how we can apply it. So these are the few guidelines which I would like to give while choosing AI for your future projects. Like what projects are eligible for having AI, where you can use AI, or where you should go away from the AI and choose traditional means of analysis. Like first of all, if if you came up with a project, you should try to analyze some basic eligibility criteria, if these are fulfilled before thinking about applying these as an AI problem. Like you should definitely identify whether it's clinically relevant. It's true for everything. Then whether you have to analyze whether there is something recognizable patterns in those which we can where AI can algorithms can be used to give you the reports. Similarly, if the task is very repetitive, AI tends to have a very good grasp about it, and then you can eliminate the human efforts in those repetitive tasks. Similarly, the training data should be very adequate, and it should be adequately large, and whatever the kind of data is there, you should be able to digitally transform it for before getting into further kind of analysis. The one of the important things which can come out is like precision medicine, as we have seen with that glioblastoma studies. You can go just beyond signs and symptoms and give very a person or patient specific analysis or prognostication for his or her outcome. One of the very important things which is told about AI data sets is like whatever goes inside the models comes out of the model. So in simple terms, like garbage in is garbage out. So your data set should be pristine, and it should be very accurate, as much as accurate you can make it before you train your model on that. Because if that step is screwed up, then you cannot move forward. So these are some of the furthest reading. If anybody wants to read about basics of AI, like there is a very beautiful website called AI Wiki. If somebody wants yeah, reading a paper about AI and wants to understand different AI terminologies, you can visit this page here. Different summaries are given, and these are some of the languages or softwares which are used, or libraries per se, which are used for developing those AI models. So this is for today. I hope all 3 days you have got a lot of information. And if somebody has any questions, please feel free to ask.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much, Bushnell. Now, I like to start things off with a question. You know, I'm not a neurosurgeon. However, every doctor is interested in AI. Now, it seems like a neurosurgeon in developing countries, you don't need a lot of equipment to use this. You just need a thirst for knowledge, correct? And a computer. Is that true? You don't need anything special to work with AI, correct?
Yeah, like for training purposes, you need a lot of horsepower in terms of computing power. But
Okay.
just for analysis or getting the results from those model, if the model is of relatively small size, these models of ChatGPT are not very large. Those cannot fit. But smaller models, you can use it on smaller computers without any
Yeah,
internet connectivity.
yeah. So the lack of equipment should not stop a doctor from doing working with AI. That's what
Definitely.
I tell a lot of people that this age of technology benefits everybody because it, first of all, established better communication, and you don't need expensive equipment to get hooked up to the internet. And I'm glad to see there's an area of science. You don't need a lot of equipment. You need good computer power and a thirst for knowledge. Any questions from the audience? Let's see, we have the head of neurosurgery from Afghanistan. Are you there? Let's see. Let me see if his name. Hold on. Okay, Ahmed, are you there? Ahmed? He says greetings. He may be in a place where he can't. There he is. How you doing today?
Hello, thank you. Thank you, Professor. Thank you. Great webinar and nice presentation. Like as well, like other presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to put a link that includes all three webcasts. And this is, I told Bushan that really was the purpose of these three webinars, because the 3 days of Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on the internet are kind of down days. So what I want to try to do is allow people to download all three at once, so they didn't necessarily have to sit in all. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. This is part of maintenance of. Oh, okay. Let me just mute some people. Okay, yeah. People can download the series to totally together. Marvin, do you have any comments that you'd like to say? You can say it in Spanish. I can translate. Go ahead, Marvin.
Sí, sí, aquí estoy.
Tiene preguntas, Marvin. Yo he dicho que no necesito equipo especial para usar inteligencia artificial. Solamente un computer bueno. ¿Qué piensas de esto?
Ah, sí. ¿Cuánto tiempo necesitaría para un neurocirujano para aprender a aplicar la inteligencia artificial a la neurocirugía?
Okay, it's a general question. He asked, how much do you have to study a neurosurgeon to learn AI? Essentially, he's asking that. I think a
So
good part would be to start with a series, right?
So I have been learning for 7 years, but I guess I have been pretty slow. And now I have known and many newer models has came, which I guess within, if you have able to spend like 3 to 6 months, you should be adequately able to apply these principles with the proper guidance to have AI into your practice. The already developed products can be used today itself. No training is required, as I have shown in these three demonstrations today, like for glioma prediction, statistical analysis, and other things. But if you want to develop the models by yourself and you want to get your hand dirty by learning programming, I guess minimum 3 to 6 months are required to have at least a very workable or a generalized idea about what's happening around. Maybe 1 or 2 months for learning programming first, and then you can dive deep into AI algorithms afterward.
Okay, I just put
Thank
the
you.
playlist in. Oh, go ahead, Marvin. ¿Qué dice que tiene otro poco? Él dice, ¿tú entiendes que dice 6
Yo
meses?
entendí.
Okay,
Sí, sí, I understand.
okay. Okay, I've put a link to the playlist, which includes, and I'll actually screen share this link so that people can see that. Okay, you see, push the playlist page. Now this is the playlist page. There'll be another one, part 3, put up today. But you can get all three in the playlist. The link is in the chat box here for the people in the webcast. So any other comments or questions from anybody? Pragnes, do you have any questions?
No, thank you very much. Fantastic presentation. I'm very impressed by Dr. Thomre's explanation and exposition of artificial intelligence. So thank you very much. Thoroughly
Okay.
enjoyed.
Okay, Pragnes, there's a link on the chat that gives you the playlist, so you can watch all three at once if you want in the future. You got that link?
Not yet on the chat.
Yeah, do you see it? It says, okay. Okay, I'm gonna label it. But here's the list for the play link. Do you get that? And Ahmad, there's a link there, and do you see what the link is, Ahmad and Pragnesh? You see the link?
I can see it. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, very good. Yeah, don't be discouraged by the small turnout. That's okay. That's okay because most people will watch. This is the work day for most neurosurgeons. They're in the OR or in the office. I know in India, I hope we got a couple, but in the future, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people watching it. And we, of course, we're going to continue to maintain a relationship with you, hopefully, that will, if you have any ideas, we'll be glad to televise them. Perhaps on the weekend, I bet you're going to see more people. However, as I said before, it's mostly to watch all three together. That's how I would do it anyways. Okay, we thank you very much for the series and we look forward to continuing collaboration.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Jim.
Okay.